Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about one of the most crucial excerpts that you'll find on pretty much every trombone audition, both bass and tenor, and it will make or break your audition, guaranteed. And that is The Ride of the Valkyries. Enough said, let's get after it. So, The Ride is one of the most challenging excerpts we have for our instrument, and that's why it's on pretty much every audition you're ever going to play, and in fact, it's probably going to be on the first round. One of the reasons it's always on the first round is because you can quickly and effectively cut so many unqualified candidates just from hearing this one excerpt. So if I were to ask a random trombone player, hey, what's the most challenging part of this excerpt? They'd probably tell me it's the rhythm. And yeah, I agree to a certain extent, but what's even more than that, and it's what's more obvious than that from the perspective of the panel that's listening to the audition, is the intonation. And there's a few reasons for that. Number one, it's in B major or B minor. I'm going to be playing B major today, which is a half step above our fundamental pitch of our instrument. So on any brass instrument, when you're playing a half step above the fundamental, it's not a great key. It doesn't lie well in the instrument. Number two, it's got 5 sharps. And of course, growing up, as we all did, playing in bands and whatnot, we don't play in too many sharp keys. And if you're a young trombonist coming up, you have to learn how to play in a sharp key in order to get a job. And once you get the job, then you get used to it because you do it all the time. So I want to focus on intonation to start with. We'll talk about rhythm a little later. The way I do this, and this applies for any excerpt, no matter what the problem you've got with it, is you take the excerpt and you strip it right back. So in this case, we're going to be taking away all the degree of difficulty that the rhythm presents us and just leaving us with B major arpeggios. And if you think about it, so many excerpts are consisting of arpeggios and scales. So you always want to pare it back and practice it from that standpoint. So this is how I start practicing this excerpt. And so on. Now, just as an aside, I play with a G flat valve for my second valve, and one of the main benefits you get from a G flat valve is this excerpt. Playing the B's in the staff in the second valve. It's so convenient. You go from F sharp 5th to 4th and then D sharp in 3rd. It just makes it so much easier. So if you've got a G flat valve and you haven't been using it to play those B's, please do so. You'll thank me later. Okay, so once you've had a chance to practice that way for a while and you're getting more comfortable with the intonation, you can check that by recording yourself, by using a drone set to B. That way you can really hear the intervals and if they're in tune or not. Then what we're going to do is start to build back in the rhythm on the first beat. And the first step we take in that regard is to add the 8th note that's at the end of the first beat of each of the bars. Okay? When we do this, we want to think about having each of the short notes, that includes the pickup note and the little 8th note at the end of the first beat, as slices of a long tone, right? They're never punched and they're never attacked with the tongue. It's the same production you're using from the long notes to the short notes, okay? Think of it as a slice of a long tone. We need to focus on the quality of each note. And if we're doing it that way, then it's gonna make it really hard for us to overblow and to get too edgy. Another comment on the ride in general is I never worry about the accents. They're on the first beats of each bar. There's a high danger that it's going to sound too punchy, too smashy, especially in an audition situation. So this step of the process sounds a bit like this. I call that the Kill the Wabbit version, little Elmer Fudd humor. So at this point, you're getting really comfortable with this excerpt. The B major sorted itself out. The quality of the dotted quarters and the eighths are equal. Your wabbit is well and truly killed. So now it's time to talk about the 16th note. Often people talk about this excerpt from the reverse standpoint. Like they play the whole thing through and they say, right, the downbeats have to be longer. The dotted quarter notes have to be the same length and tenuto. And that's all really true. However, if you attack this excerpt the way I'm recommending, strip it all back, start from the ground up, you're going to be building all those good habits in from the ground floor, not from the top floor when it's too late. So when we come to the 16th note, I really think of it as a pickup to the following note. It has to be very firmly articulated. So often I hear students play this excerpt and the 16th note is swallowed, or some version of it where it doesn't come out very well. That can be fixed by a nice firm articulation. If you're having trouble centering in the 16th note, one thing I tell students to do is to turn the beat around like this. Like that. That way you're focusing in, making that 16th note the long note instead of the note in front of it. And it will give your chops and your brain a chance to center in and really hear and feel that pitch. And you do that enough and you'll be focusing in on that note enough, it'll come out nice and crisply and you'll be that much further down the track. Now, incidentally, this full excerpt with the 16 notes is this is where the G flat valve really shines. That combination of 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, and so on is so natural and easy to execute. You don't have to worry about, these long leaps on the slide. And speaking of that, I also use the second valve on the combination of notes where it's the top A sharp going down to the F sharp and back to the A sharp. The tenors don't have that second valve, and so they have to do some combination of 1, 5, 5 or 1, 5, 1, and it's incredibly difficult. Whereas we can just play the second valve for the F sharp in a flat first. Couldn't be easier. Like that. So now I'm going to play the whole excerpt through for you. But before I do, I'd like to thank you for your time today. Please have a look at the rest of my channel. Give me a like, subscribe, and share it to your friends. See ya.